Hey everybody, today's words to live by are: the truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. And that is from David Foster Wallace. And for those of you familiar with Wallace and also a little bit of my background, we share a lot of things in common. And so what he tends to write about, I tend to absorb very easily. And so this is not going to be the last time you hear me quote something from Wallace throughout this video series, because I've written down quite a few things from him over the years. If you've read the book Infinite Jest, that book is really largely about the sport of tennis, which is something I know about, and it covers addiction, which is something I know a little bit about. And so a lot of what he says, I really take to heart because I can relate to it pretty well, and I can sort of envision the things that he writes about. And if you're familiar with another speech of his subtitled "This is Water," that's another really just amazing read and or listen if you get a chance to get exposed to that. But that will be covered in this video series, so there's no need to go necessarily to Google or YouTube. Just wait a little bit and we will get to a quote from "This is Water." But regarding the truth, so I think everybody loves that term, the first part of that term: the truth will set you free. I think we all can get our arms around that, right? But what we do is we tend to forget the next part of that. And it's basically that the truth has to do its work on you first before you actually transcend your reality into, from something that wasn't true into the ultimate truth. And so truth liberates and it sets us free, but not before it dismantles a whole bunch of stuff like denial and ego and excuses. And so that discomfort is actually the doorway to freedom, because it shifts responsibility for the truth and to live by that truth back to one's self. And so the discomfort comes in things like denial and our ego and putting up these excuses that a lot of us do. And that's discomfort is giving up those things and sort of just embracing what the actual truth and reality of a given situation is. And so this reflection to me is about radical honesty. And so real freedom arrives after the hard part, after facing reality and owning it. And that's such an important term, owning it. And then aligning your behavior with what's true. And so it can sting because of the difficulty and the discomfort for those things that we tend to lean on. But the payoff is clarity, it's a clean conscience, and it's overall just a lighter way of living. And so the irony is that I come back to these two words: you have to own it, and in order to have freedom of mind. And I know people who cannot stand that term, own it, because it's just what you think it is. It shifts responsibility inward, and it takes responsibility for one's behavior and actions and truths, and it releases all the other blame and trying to sort of shed any responsibility. It brings it right back to us, which I love, and I think it's a much freer way to sort of go through life. And so if I were to leave you with a takeaway, I'll give you a choice of two takeaways and two different ways to think about it. The first is: let the truth do its work, freedom follows. And the second takeaway could be: truth hurts, then heals. Let it finish the job. So I hope you enjoyed today's reflection. You will hear me talk more about Wallace in the days, weeks, and months ahead. And if you enjoyed this, please like and or subscribe. And I will see you all again soon.